Dawson's Rambles.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Writer here. This is going to be my video where I try to explain where to start reading the Power Rangers comics. As I've seen around in a lot of my comics videos, I get multiple comments, or even on other videos, that it's hard for people to understand where to start, which I can understand to a degree. It's actually kind of simple when you lay it out, and it's far less confusing than trying to get into stuff like DC and Marvel, in which they've had multiple reboots, and then reboots to reinstate those reboots, and then reboots to erase those reboots. But I'm going to try to explain this in a chronological order to how to read the main series in chronological order. At the end, I will touch on some of the one-shots. I tried my best to just be concise. I might have forgotten a detail here and there. If so, I apologize, but I'm hoping that this helps. It's relatively simple. I think the thing that confuses people is when the series split into two temporarily. Okay, but let's get started. So, honestly, to start, it's super simple. Just find the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comics run, start with issue 0 and issue 1. You know, lots of comics will start with an issue 0, kind of a prelude issue. So just start from there. That's super simple. You know, that'll take you for a good long while. And then I have my notes over here. That's what I'm going to be looking over here. So then just read that through issue 30. The main comic, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, issue 1 through 30, will take you right through the Shattered Grid event. And then to see the conclusion of the Shattered Grid, though, you will need to read the Shattered Grid one-shot, which is a finale. So, you know, read through issue 30 and then read the Shattered Grid one-shot. Now, I'm going to go over to the Go-Go Power Rangers comic, as that is a companion to this. The beginning starts out as a prequel for issues 1 through 7. Now, whether you want to read the full series is up to you. I personally recommend it because I think it's an underrated comic with some great character work, and in the current run, as of this recording, they are taking a lot of lore details from this series, so I recommend reading it. However, if you don't want to read the whole thing, for Shattered Grid purposes, you want to read issues 8 through 12 of Go-Go Power Rangers that ties into Shattered Grid. Now, after Shattered Grid is over, you have Beyond the Grid. Beyond the Grid runs from issues 31 to 39. I know some people have probably heard that that's a mixed arc. If you want to skip that one, you can. You can obviously pick it up pretty easy. It's in a hardcover compendium. Like if you found that on sale and just wanted to pick it up and set it aside and read it later. The characters do come up once or twice, but it's not as essential as I would say. Like personally, I would recommend reading Go-Go because there's key elements they're bringing up in the comic currently. But with Beyond the Grid, as of right now, there's not as much relevant. So if you wanted to skip over that, it's more of a self-contained story, issues 31 through 39. Then, picking up with issue 40, we have the Necessary Evil arc. Now here's where we go back to Go-Go Power Rangers. You don't have to, but I would recommend at this point starting to read Go-Go again at issue 21. I believe it's issue 21, right? Yes. Starting with issue 21 of Go-Go Power Rangers, it becomes a sort of flashback prequel for the backstory of the Omega Rangers. So read the main Mighty Morphin comic, issue 40, and Go-Go Power Rangers, issue 21, concurrently through the end of Go-Go Power Rangers run at issue, I think it was like 30 or something like that, I can't remember, but the end of the series. And then at the end of the Go-Go Power Rangers series is the Rangers Forever one-shot, which is the true finale with that. Then you can be done with Go-Go. But just, you have to read those concurrently to get the backstory. You don't necessarily have to, but I highly recommend it. And so then the main comic, once you start reading Necessary Evil, will take you all the way to issue 55. And at issue 55 of the main Mighty Morphin comic is where it splits into two comics. Mighty Morphin, which follows the events, obviously, of the Lightspeed Rescue team. No, obviously, of the Mighty Morphin team. And then Power Rangers, which follows the events of the Big Bad Beetleborgs. I shouldn't make these jokes since this is supposed to be informative, but Power Rangers follows the adventures of the Omega Rangers. And they start a new numbering for that, and those individual series ran for 22 issues each. I believe it was 22 issues each. If I'm wrong about the number, just read through the end of it. Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers. And again, it's up to you. You can read just one if you want, because they do have standalone stories, but just know that they converge at multiple parts in arcs such as the Altarian War, and you might be confused as to what's going on when the storylines start to merge together. But those run concurrently, Mighty Morphin 1 through 22, and Power Rangers 1 through 22. Then, we're caught up to the present. Starting after that, at the end of issues 22 of Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers, just read the 100 issue special, another one-shot, and then we start the current run. After the special one-shot 100 issue, start with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 101. They re-merged into one single comic, and that takes us to the present day as of this recording, 101 through issue 108. 108 is the current issue as of this when this video was made, so after you finish that one-shot, you can read the current run from issue 101 to present. Now, there is obviously other extended material. There was a couple annuals, which include just a series of individual stories. I think there's only 2 of them. One of them was just kind of random backstory issues. You don't necessarily have to read it, but it has some cool stuff in it. I believe the second one was a Shattered Grid tie-in, so if you want to enhance your Shattered Grid experience, there you have that. The graphic novels, such as Soul of the Dragon, the Time Force, the Space ones, are completely standalone. You can read those at any point. And in fact, if you just were trying to think if you'd like PR comics, just read one of those on their own. They're not really connected to anything mainly at all. You have the Power Rangers Unlimited series, which is a self-contained story as well, a backstory of sorts, and that can be read completely on its own at any point. I would recommend reading it starting for the current run, issue 101 through 108, because they are taking advantage of some key mythology from that. So I would recommend that for the lore. And then there is the Power Rangers Unlimited series, which is effectively, some standalone backstory and lore issues that focus in on one or more characters. In my opinion, you can read these at any point. They do have connections to the main comic arcs that were happening at the time they were published, but not in a way that will confuse you at all. It will just enhance the story overall, so you could even read all of them as your first thing you read, and then when you get to that point in the main comic, you'll go, oh! So it's just an enhancement, but in my opinion, you won't be confused at all. And then the last thing I can think of is the Ranger Slayer comic and Draken New Dawn, which is a side story that tells the story of the world of the coin list that Draken comes from post Shattered Grid. Also very standalone, but obviously you're going to want to finish at least the Shattered Grid arc first before you dive into that. And I would also recommend reading that because personally I find it to be an underrated story. Not to mention, the current upcoming event story is going to involve Lord Draken coming back with characters from that world, and I think having knowledge of that story would be helpful. So I hope this video can be of help. I know it can seem kind of overwhelming. It is needlessly confusing that they split into 2 and remerged, but I think that's really the only thing confusing about it. And hopefully this helps, but otherwise just head to the wiki, and if you need a reminder, the Power Rangers wiki, if you need a reminder of when it split off, it'll tell you the legacy numbers and the Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers numbers, the Power Rangers numbers. Time Wizard! Thanks you! So I hope this helps. Hope you can, maybe finally check out the comics if you've been apprehensive. I know it can get overwhelming, but in my opinion, it is highly worth it. For my money, the best Power Rangers stories have ever been told. And again, the beginning is very simple. If you want to just read issues 1 through 30 in Shattered Grid, that's a really nice, large amount to read where you don't have to worry about splitting off into alternate issues and stuff like that. It's just one self-contained story. And especially if you want to take a little bit of a break, you could just read those 30 issues in Shattered Grid and then take a break and not even have to worry about splitting off. It's fairly straightforward. But anyways, guys, that's it for this one. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you get notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.